Hello, my name is Megan Swan. I've been involved in Stepping On now for at least 13 years, and I'm very passionate about falls prevention in older people. I am the co-author of the manual, Stepping On, and its companion, Staying Power. I'm also a shared author of the American version of Stepping On. I want to thank you so much for enrolling in this course, and we're going to learn a lot together and have a lot of fun. Stepping On is not a didactic program. In other words, we are not telling people what to do. Why Stepping On works is that it has a very huge conceptual background where we're making the older people aware of their own falls risk, and so they can change their own behaviour. That makes Stepping On quite unique. That's why we're having the one-day face-to-face training. We also will be talking about storytelling in that one day, upskilling experts, group dynamics, and also we will be going through some role plays. But today I'm going to be just going through the outline of the program, just the topics, the falls prevention topics. By now you will all have your manual, and I want you to look at page 72 of your manual. There will be an outline of what the topics are from week 1 down to week 7. I'm going to now talk to you about week 1 and how important it is. Then I will follow through with the exercises, and then finally I will just briefly go through the outline, because all the topics and subjects are in your manual, and you will have to have read the manual before you undertake a Stepping On program. Stepping On, week 1, is a very important group. Week 1 is when we develop trust in the program for the participants. These people have all had a fall or all fearful of falling, so they're very anxious, and they're not used to coming to a small group to talk about the anxiety of their falls. So your job is to make them feel very, very welcome. Some of them will know each other, some of them won't. So how the program starts that day is you get them to sit in the group to explain that older people fall, but we all fall. It's just as we get older, the falls hurt more and your bones might break more. I explain a story of a fall I've had and the consequences of it and the reasons I had it, and then I get the co-leader to explain their fall. So the trust is built up. Then I tell them my background, I get the co-leader to tell my background. Then I will go around and ask the people in the group where they live, why they've come to the group. Now, I've run now over 80 Stepping On groups all throughout New South Wales, and 6 Chinese speaking groups. And they all seem to say the same thing in group 1. The reason they've come is they feel sad because they're falling. They feel depressed because they're falling. They feel they're the only ones in the world that are falling. They feel this is the beginning of the end. They've lost their balance. They feel as if the next step is a nursing home. They don't want to tell people how many times they've fallen. They don't know why they're falling, and they think this is inevitable. At the end of the group, of them talking about it, I say to them, well, you're very lucky you've come to the right place, because you've enrolled in this program, and if you come every day of the program, then you will reduce your falls by 31%. And it's fantastic. That's where the trust and the feeling of empowerment comes for these older people. They have to turn up now every week for 7 weeks. and you have to make them feel safe and secure with you. So many of them don't like to tell their secrets, and they haven't told them to family members. So the trust element is very important in Group 1. We then also do a, as you'll see in your manual, we do a shopping list where we ask the people what do they want to get out of the group, so they feel involved. But we do all the topics that we will be having in the group are evidence-based. We talk about medication and falls, we talk about exercise, the Otago exercises, balance and strength exercises, we talk about home hazards and falls, we talk about vision and falls, and a feeling of mastery and getting out and about in community. So what I might do now is just go through the exercises which are in your manual, but I think if I will go through them with you now, and you can ask questions on the one-day training. Now I'm going to talk about a quick overview of the program. I want you to have a look at page 72 of your manual, and then I will be talking now through what's in each session, just briefly, to give you an idea. I am going to, at the end of this DVD, we're going to be going through the exercises, but now I'll start talking about session 2. Session 2 involves going through the exercises again, but we also talk about getting up from a fall, we talk about getting up from a chair, we talk about using a walking stick, steps and stairs. We consolidate the exercises, we advance them if they're too easy, we give people weights if they're too easy. We get the physio or the exercise physiologist or the fitness leader to talk about whether the exercises can be downgraded if it's causing any pain. It's a very important session. We reiterate how it's so important to do these exercises each week and that there's homework to do. Session 3, we go through the exercises again, ask with some homework too from last week. We ask people 3 things they remember from the week before so that the group can hear that. But session 3, we go through home hazards, safety at the home. We use props, and we have a PowerPoint presentation which you can access if you look up Sydney University Press, medical books, stepping on, and to the right you'll see handouts which are free, and also the PowerPoint presentation is free. You put that on a USB stick and that can be your presentation. It is good to have an occupational therapist to talk about the home hazard section and to buy props that people can talk about. People learn differently. They learn visually and they learn by touching. I will now show you some props that you can use, but this is by no means exhaustive. There is many other props you can, and I will be bringing them on the one-day training. Week 3, as I mentioned, we talk about home hazards. There's many ways of reducing falls in the home. Firstly, by being aware of the hazard and changing it, or secondly, being aware of your behaviour around that hazard. There will be a prop table with little ideas in the group. I've just brought a few along today. A torch that you can, in the middle of the night, you can put on, and a night light that you can put in the bathroom, which is really handy. There are many. There's non-slip strips, there will be non-slip paint, there will be non-slip bath mats, and also a wonderful PowerPoint presentation. We also, at the end of that Week 3, we ask people to go home and do an audit on their own home and see what they can change at their own home. So it is quite an empowering and it's a fun week. Week 4, usually we talk about community safety and footwear. Now, I'll just show you a few of the examples of footwear that we have. We have the old stilettos, and we have the safe footwear. And we either get a podiatrist in, or someone from a shoe company that's interested in talking about safe shoes, and we talk about the 4 aspects of a safe shoe, which is support, sole, heel, and fit. We get people to go home and do an audit on their own shoes. We also have a lot of fun talking about shoes and how important they are for making you feel safe and affecting your balance. So that's a fun time. We also have community safety, which we get someone come from the NRMA, that's who I have had, who've been brilliant, to talk about community safety, being alert, getting out and about. We talk about the reflective jackets they may be wearing light material when it's raining, crossing, roundabouts, always too mentioning heel-toe walking so that they feel safe when they're walking, getting out, not in the busiest part of the day, but have a skilled expert speaker is much more empowering, and it also adds a lot of interest to this talk. Week 4, we talk about vitamin D, calcium, and vision. Now, vision is a really important aspect of falls prevention. As we know, we just have to stand on one leg and close our eyes and we fall over. So as we get older, our eyes degenerate, and there's many things that we can do to stop this degeneration, and there's also eye conditions that we can get. So we have an excellent speaker come from the Guide Dogs. Other people have had Vision Australia come and talk, and an excellent talk about things that you can do, eye checks, having cataract operation, lighting, how important lighting is in your home and outside, glare, wearing hats, and all related to scanning, getting your head up and looking around. So it links in very well with the other talks on community safety, but I would also advise you to get an expert speaker in that one too. Session 5, as I talked about, we have a big talk about vision and falls with the Guide Dogs or Vision Australia, but we also have we invite along a dietitian or a nutritionist to talk about vitamin D and calcium and how important they are for bone health. Vitamin D, sunlight, and calcium as in with dairy products, etc. I also have quite a few props I bring along too. It makes it more interesting. So for instance, a milk container, we have salmon bones, anchovy bones. Also too, if you, I'm unfortunate enough to have an example of an osteoporotic bone and a normal bone, but if you haven't got that, I use an aero bar for the osteoporotic bone and a violet chroma bar for this bone, so they can see the difference and how when they fall, how the bones would break so much easier. And I think that really gets it across quite quickly. The next session we talk about is medication and mastery skills. Now, medication is a huge issue. Medication and falls. We know that sleeping tablets can make anyone fall of any age, and there's a very high incidence of putting older people on sleeping tablets and their falls rate increasing. Also, when we're changing medications, we can make ourselves dizzy. So I think this talk is just so important to have a good speaker. So we have a community pharmacist who usually comes and talks. Maybe you can get a private pharmacist in your area, come and give a talk. Excellent, and we get the group involved, and we get them to go back to their doctor and talk about what medications they're on, We ask them maybe they should do a pharmacy review. We talk about how important it is to be aware of what tablet's going in your body and how it can affect you. And how as we get older, medication can affect you more. So that is week 6. We also have mastery skills, where we get people to go outside and use the techniques they've used getting up and down steps, ramps and rails, slopes, curves, and we get them to do it. We usually get the physio to come back, or the exercise physiologist to come back in that section, so it's fun. We get out in the grass, go around the footpath and just go through what we've learnt. Week 7 is when it all comes back together and we go over what we've learnt. We do also the Apple quiz game if you haven't had time, and then we also do sections that if you haven't had time before to recap on what we've learnt. We make a time for the booster group, which is in 3 months, and I will also tell them all about all the different exercise groups available to them with balance and strength. After week 7, when everyone's got a booster session date organised, and we've also referred people on to various organisations if they want to, or go to health promotion activities, balance and strength exercising classes. In the research, we then went and did a home visit by the facilitator to the person's home, where we talked about actions and behaviours that had been changed in the group. We found that was very good for follow-up of their behaviour, and they were very keen to show me their house and what they'd done to change, and their behaviour with their eyesight, how they'd gone to have eye checkups, how they had sensible shoes, and they'd done them themselves. They were very proud of themselves with that. I haven't talked about outcome measures yet. Outcome measures are in your manual, and it's up to you whether your organisation needs them or whether you want to do them. The 3 tests that I think that would be good to use for physical outcome measures are the time get up and go, stand to sit, and the tandem stance. We've also used the falls efficacy scale to see how worried people are about falling before the program and afterwards. But I've found also attendance is very important. If people are turning up, then you're obviously giving them what they want, and then spreading the word. That's a very important and powerful indicator that what you're doing is fulfilling their needs. Thank you.